Langley Christian School, I'm going to read you one more story. And I've got Posh on my knee here because she's a special part of this story. I'm sitting here beside our manger. And I don't know if you remember the first story that I read online to you, The Tale of Three Trees. And it talked about one of those trees being made into a feeding box for animals and then carrying the greatest treasure of the world. Well, the other day we discovered that our manger was holding a very special treasure. So Posh, we knew that Posh was going to have little kittens, and take a look at into the manger here. She's got 4 healthy little kittens that she's taking care of right down in there. And that seems like the perfect way to end our story time here for library. So I'm going to read you a cat story. And this story, we have 2 copies of this. City Cat, Country Cat, and Freckle and Clyde. They're exactly the same story. And it's about a cat, a little bit like Posh, who disappears. He lives with one child and another child, and in between, he seems to be gone. And so I'm going to read this story to you, and it kind of is celebrating Posh as a new mom of 4 baby kittens, and just good stories. So, City Cat, Country Cat by Patricia Cleveland Peck. Freckle lived in the country at Willow Farm. Posh lives on Swallowfield Farm. He slept in the sun, caught mice, and when he felt like it, played with David Percy. That's the cat. Charlie lived in the city at 12 East Avenue. He slept by the fire. And when he felt like it, he played with Sarah Smith. In the mornings, Freckle enjoyed creamy milk from the dairy, and as soon as David's dad started up the milking machines, he would appear. At night, Charlie enjoyed canned or cat food from the supermarket. As soon as Sarah's mom opened the can, he would be there. But one evening, Charlie wasn't around at dinner time. "Never mind," said Sarah's mom. "You know he sometimes goes away for days. He'll be back. Cats lead their own lives. You don't have to worry." And sure enough, the next day there was Charlie stretched out on the rug when Sarah came home from school. One day, David went looking for Freckle. "I wish I could get him to sleep on my bed," said David. "Not him," said David's dad. "He's an outside cat, a stray. I expect he's out in the field, chasing rabbits." "Don't worry, he'll be back. Cats have their own lives to lead, you know." And sure enough, the next morning there was Freckle, waiting for his milk as usual. Sometimes Charlie curled up on the sofa with Sarah, or suddenly jumped on her bed and purred so that the house seemed full of cats. Other times he went missing just when she wanted to cuddle him. It's all the cats around the frame. Sometimes it looked as if Freckle pounced and played in the hedges and rushed up trees and hid in the wild flowers all at the same time, so that the farmyard seemed full of cats. It's doing so many things. Other times David looked for Freckle in vain. "He's snug in a barn somewhere," said David's dad. "Cats see to themselves. Don't fuss. He'll be back." And he always was. This reminds me of the other story we read by the chicken coop, Emma and the Coyote. Then Charlie took to being away for longer and longer periods. "He's off in the woods somewhere," said Sarah's mom. "Don't worry, cats look after themselves. He'll be back." And he always was. "If you could talk, you could only talk, would you tell me where you go?" asked Sarah. But Charlie just flicked the end of his tail without waking up. Then Sarah had an idea. She was going to follow him and see where he went. She would track him and learn what he was up to. She watched and watched, but Charlie just stayed in the garden. He snoozed in the shrubbery, curled up in the catnip, dozed among the delphiniums. Then very early one morning, Charlie suddenly sprang off the windowsill and jumped over the garden wall, trotted up the path past the school, through the woods, across the bridge, over the stream, and around a big field, through a hole in the hedge, across a little field, under a gate, and into the yard of Willow Farm. All the while, Sarah was following, trying hard not to be seen. She was getting very mad. And when she saw Charlie saunter right into the barn, she finally lost her temper. She marched across the yard, calling out in a loud voice, "You've got my cat!" David came out of the barn. "No, there's only one cat here," he replied, amazed. "A white cat, with a splotch of black over one eye." "A splotch of black over one eye?" asked Sarah. "Yes, that's my Freckle," said David. "No, it's my Charlie," insisted Sarah. And then she's going, "Come in and see," said David's mom, trying to smooth things over. "He was a stray, it's true, but he's been here for ages." Freckle, or Charlie, was lapping his milk. He gazed from Sarah to David, from David to Sarah, and then very slowly began to wash his face. In the end, they agreed that they would share him, to let him come and go as he pleased, which of course he fully intended to do anyway. For as anyone knows, cats do lead their own lives, sometimes even double lives. And in our case, Posh was missing once for a few days, but then she came back. And now she's going to stay because she's a mom to these little tiny kittens.